Okay, so welcome back. This is, I'm going to try to make this quick because I think this topic will be a review for a lot of you. This is mean, median, mode, and range. Let me just get this going here to hopefully a color that works. And I have a bunch of examples for each, but I'm only going to do one, and then I'll include in the assignment an answer key to the rest of the problems that are here. So just really quickly, the do now, if you want to hit pause, you can kind of look at these, but I'm going to go through them quickly. Notice that root 2 and root 2 cancel, so the first one is just 4. If I go over here, outside times outside gives me 20. Radical times radical gives me radical 18x squared. 18, remember, is just 3 times 3 times 2. I could write it like this. 3 comes out, 2 stays in. So from a number standpoint, the 3 comes to the outside. Now we're going to have 60 on my outside and 2 on the inside. And then this x squared obviously is x times x, so that can come out as 1x. So we have 60, write it over here really quick, 60x square root 2. Lastly, really quick, if you remember rounding to the nearest tenth, we want to find the 10th place. Here's my 10th spot. I look to the right. That number, 6, this number right here is 5 or higher, so this 6 gets bumped up. So we get 5.7. Yikes, it's a bad 5. Better. And then over here, here's my 10th place. So I look to the right of the 10th place. That's a 0. That's 5 or lower. It's less than 5. So this number 1 will stay itself, and we get 2.1. Okay, so today we're going to deal again with mean, median, mode, and range. It's just a way to think about the following. How do we consolidate a bunch of different numbers into one, what's called kind of like, at least for these three, an idea of central tendency. We're taking a bunch of numbers and kind of narrowing them down just to one figure that's supposed to represent a bunch of different values. So there's obviously pros and cons with each. So let's jump right into it. Again, I will do an example 1 of each so that this video is not too long. The definition of mean is up here. Many of you also might hear the term average. That's another, my goodness, that's some poor spelling right there. Holy moly. Average, A-G-E. So another way that you might hear of it is called the average. They're the same thing. And so we're adding all the values together and then dividing by the number in the set. How many values do I have? And again, you can hit pause and write that definition in your notes if you want. And then let's just do one example right here. So if I wanted to find the mean or average of this set, I would add all of these. Plus, my pluses aren't great, sorry about that. And divide by 6. Why 6? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have 6 terms in that set. And if I go to my calculator, I've already kind of put that in, preloaded that, I get 7. So the average of all these values is 7. Note that 7 doesn't show up anywhere. Right? None of these values are 7, but this represents this central tendency of trying to represent a set of numbers with just one numbers. And so you can see some of the drawbacks of what the mean has. Probably the most common one. You can think of a lot of examples where average is used. Let's move over to median. Median, the key here, again, hit pause if you want to write down the definition, is the middle. So now we need to order things from least to greatest. So looking at the first one, our first key is to order them. 1, 3, 5. What comes next? 6, 8, 10, and 14. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have an odd number, so I will have one that's in the middle, right? There's 3 that are on the low end, 3 on the high end, which means this right here is my median. I'm going to do another quick example here, number 6, and the reason is this one has an even number in the set. Remember, this one, there were 7 values, so I had a true middle. This one, if I look at these, I got to reorder them: 21, 36, 49, and 55. Notice I don't have a true middle. It's an even number, right? Here I've got 4 terms. So in this case, what I do is I find the 2 that are in the middle, and I take the average of that. So I'd take 36, or the mean of that, plus 49 divided by 2, and you get, let's just do that in the calculator really quick. Maybe you can do it in your head, and that's fine. So we need parentheses, parentheses, 36 plus 49, 36, come on, 36, let's go, 36 plus 49, parentheses, divided by 2, and I get 42 and a half. And there's some other ways to do that too. You can see the difference between 36 and 49. Right, we want basically the value halfway between. Well, there's a difference of 13. Half of 13 is 6.5, so you could just add 6.5 to this side, or subtract 6.5 from this. Either way, 42.5 for the median. Okay. Next, we go to mode. The mode is the one that shows up the most often. Again, notice that in median, if I look at median, at least here when I have an odd number of values, I'm going to have a median value that was one of the members of my set. Over here on number 6, where I had an even number, this number 42.5 never showed up in my set. So that's kind of a downside of a median, is that it may not include an actual value. Mode, that's the strength of mode. We're going to show up the value that shows up the most often. And in order to do that, we have to reorder as well. Look at this wide range of, keep in mind that word, range, values. So we got to order them 2, and this 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7, there and there. We get to some bigger numbers: 53, 89, and we have 489 and 987. You can already start to see, if we're thinking about central tendency, this is a huge range from 2 all the way up to 987, but the number that shows up the most is 2. It shows up twice. So the mode is 2. And again, at least, at a minimum, it actually includes values that are in the set. Notice up here, if no number occurs more than once, there is no mode. And if multiple numbers occur, most often they are all the mode. Okay. So I'll stop there on the mode. And then lastly, range. The range is the difference between the highest and the lowest. And when I see the word difference, I think subtraction. So once again, I'm going to need to order from least to greatest, because I need to subtract the highest and the lowest, or subtract the lowest from the highest. So let's look at number 14 and quickly order those. 7, 8, 11, 12, and 16. Here's my greatest. Here's my least. 16 minus 7 equals 9. So my range is 9. This set has a range of 9 from least to greatest. I'm going to do number 15 just because it does include some negatives. So if we order this from least to greatest, -8, -4, then we get to 0, And then we have 5, 9, and 16. 5, 9, and 16. Okay, notice here's my smallest, here's my greatest. So always subtract your greatest minus your smallest. Remember, I'm subtracting, so I could go plus a positive, gives me a range of 24. So we can find the range, actually mean, median, mode, all of these, even if we have negative values. And that makes sense. On a number line, I'm here at -8, here would be 0, over here would be 16. I could kind of jump, here's 8 and 16 more. So again, I have a range of 24. That's pretty much it. There's a bunch of problems in your in-class practice, but I don't want to make this video too long. You can always re-watch mean, median, mode, and range. For the mean, you do not need to reorder from least to greatest, but median, mode, and range, you all should order them first from least to greatest. That will make it much easier. Okay, have a good day.